going on, YouTube? Happy Thursday night. Well, you all just witnessed my Broncos put a beatdown on Arizona. Unfortunately, that is not the result that I was looking for tonight. Try not to root against the Broncos, but when it's in their best interest, I definitely do. And I think I said going into tonight's game, living here in Arizona, I hear all of the talk about how, this team is awful. It's one of the worst teams I've ever seen as an NFL fan. And I said going into tonight, if the Broncos win, McCoy is fired tomorrow, Leftwich is in as offensive coordinator. If the Cardinals win, Vance Joseph is fired tomorrow. And I was kind of rooting for that because I'm just not much of a fan of Vance Joseph as a coach. The team looks amazing one week and awful the next. When you have that going on, that's usually because of coaching. But at least the Cardinals will get rid of McCoy. He needs to go. Anyways, I got a package today. Another trade box. So let's see what we got here. I do collect Matchbox licensed models, so we got the, let me zoom this out here if I can. Got the Nissan 300ZX. Now this is circa 1994. Also got the Ford Mondeo. That is not a North American model. Not sure if it's European or Australian. Probably one of the two there. And then I got this one here. By the way, that Ford Mondeo is also circa 94. This one here is circa 1998. And this one's pretty sweet here. I like this one. Isuzu Amigo. It's very large to scale. This one we're going to open here. Yeah, 1:57 scale. So these were extras in this trade. That Amigo is actually a really nice casting. It's just a little bit too big. Got all kinds of suspension on it. So the last 2 days I've been able to work on the new layout. So I got the base part done. Got the terrain on, got it painted, so just need to start with adding the earth stuff. This one's going to be a little bit more complex as I have to add water to it, and I've only done that one other time. So we'll see how it goes, but these two were also sent as extras. The Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40s. I have the blue one. I don't have the yellow, but I'm gonna hold off at this time on opening those. I do love that kind of stuff though. Pretty sweet. Love my Toyotas. Alright, so these last two are what the trade was for. Those were all extras. So, show you guys what this looks like in the box here. From Auto Art. 1:64 scale. We got the PT Cruiser. This will only be my second auto art car. I've had a few. I've had the Veyron. I had a 350Z. I currently only have the 2005 Ford GT. So this, I like oddball stuff like this, especially cars like this that are, you know, like they're, I don't know if anyone else has done a PT Cruiser. I'm sure someone has. I pretty much guarantee it hasn't been done this well. So it is plastic tires. That's one thing with auto art, is sometimes you get rubber tires, like the Veyron that I had and the Ford GT that I have are rubber tires, but the 350Z that I had and this one here are plastic tires. But a ton of realism. These things are scaled down, proportionately accurate. There's true 1/64 scale. And, I mean, that thing is on point. Great color, great lines, great stance. Those are prototypical OEM wheels, although the tires are plastic, as mentioned. Door handles, got the side view mirror. The headlights are tampoed headlights, but they are highly detailed. And, I mean, they're perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. Here is where I have an issue with the car. This is a premium detailed casting, and the taillights aren't even detailed. Not sure why that is. I've never seen an auto art car. I've seen a bunch. I've only owned a handful, but I've held in my hands, I don't know, probably a dozen. The RX-8s, a couple of different Lamborghinis. Some of them are lens headlight, taillight. Some of them are tampoed headlight, taillight, or painted. But this is the only one I've ever seen that doesn't have detailed taillights. But that's all right. It's still a great looking car. The realism of this car is so good that, to me, it makes it easy to overlook the fact that the taillights are not done. So that's a pretty awesome car. The next one, though, is going to... The next one is a kind of a ooh and ah kind of a car. It's an expensive car. It's hard to find. I've already got this casting, but I will now add this one to the list. I'm going to crack this open, which is probably going to make some of you guys sick, but I don't really care about that. I don't collect cardboard, and I am all about the diecast. I don't care about packaging. This is a beautiful card, too. Look at that card. That's probably the nicest Revell card I've seen. I've seen some nice ones, but I don't think this card could be in any better condition. Slight bend there in that corner. I would still call this mint. There's no crease. There's no edge wear. There's no surface imperfections. A lot of times you'll see removal. There's a slight little bit right there. But man, other than that, this thing is perfect. Even the bottom corners are perfect. Now, you would think that would make it hard to crack this open, right? I'm going to do it off camera, because while I don't care about the packaging, I am going to try to keep this packaging as good as possible. Actually, it's glued on there so good it's just going to come off. We're just going to take it off. There we go. Man, they used a great glue back then. Oh yeah, okay. Let's see what's happening here. Alright, well, this card is not going to be saved. See, what happens is, the way these are packaged, the paper encapsulates the inner molding. So you gotta tear it all off. This one's not as bad as some. I got a lowrider once that was exceedingly difficult. This one's not too bad here. And the car is free. And it is stunning. You know, I haven't really cared much for this color. I've seen this car online. I've seen people post photos, and I've never been big on the color. And when I purchased the one that I have, where did the card go? I was going to look at something. So when I purchased mine, which is this one here, I purchased it from eBay. And for what I was looking at, in the price range I was looking at, both of these colors were available at the time that I purchased it. You got to be careful with this car because it's not a car that's always available for sale on eBay. There are times, from time to time, where you'll do a search and there won't be any listed. And that is why these sometimes at auction can bring, you know, higher amounts than what you would probably expect. But at the time that I bought mine, each color was listed. Each one was right around $25. I think the color I ended up getting might have been a couple dollars more. And I got the green color because I liked it better. But this one came up for trade, so I figured I would just get both. And I actually do like this color out of the package. I like it a whole bunch. It's hard to describe the color. It's not quite antifreeze, but it's probably the closest thing. It's like a yellowish gold. But what I do like about this color is the fact that it's a lighter color, so it'll show up the lines of the car a lot better than the dark color does. Some of the graphics are a little bit harder to notice on this, though, as the graphics are, well, the Impala badge there is silver, so that shows up better on the green one. And then on the green one, the Impala SS badge is silver. On this one, it's black. But I love this car. It's a great car. It does have transparent lensed headlights, which are smoked. And it also has transparent lens taillights, which are also smoked. Probably transparent may not be the best way to describe the taillights. The headlights you can certainly see through. But those are inserted lenses. These cars do have rubber tires with trim. So it's a metal body, plastic base, rubber tires with tread. made by Revell. So those wheels that I put on the Ford wagon the other day, this is one of the cars I thought about putting them on. The green, I was thinking about putting them on the green one because these are Phillips screw bases, and those wheels just look so good. I know they would look a lot better than these wheels. These wheels aren't bad, but a nice crisp 5-spoke 5-star would look better. Now there is a version, there's a couple other versions of this car. This casting, by the way, is not to be confused with the Johnny Lightning Impala. I don't currently have one to show you guys, but they're very, very different toolings. So on the Johnny Lightning, you don't have the opening hood. The Johnny Lightning is a little bit shorter, not much, but a little bit. But the Johnny is quite a bit more narrow. So the proportions on the Johnny Lightning are way off. Whereas with this casting, they're pretty close. The other thing too with this casting is that the stance on it is much, much better than the stance on the Johnny Lightning. You know, it's always the quarter angles that expose the any flaws in the stance of a casting. The Johnny Lightning Impala quarter angle shots are not good. But here, quarter angles look good. The silhouette looks great. The silhouette on the Johnny looks good. It's just the quarter angles that ruin it. But the quarter angles on this look really good. If Greenlight were to do this car, I would suspect it would probably look pretty close to this. But I do like that color. I'm not going to lie. I like this color too, though. I don't know which one I like better. And when you can't decide between two, the only option is to get both. So, Martin, I don't have my phone, so I can't look up his exact YouTube moniker. And he's on YouTube. I totally forgot his YouTube moniker. I haven't watched YouTube videos, and it's been a few weeks. I've been watching YouTube videos, but I haven't watched a Diecast video in probably 3 weeks. I've been binge watching other stuff, other meaningless stuff. So, anyways, those are the Impalas, and I did get some other cars out to look at. That PT Cruiser looks great. A little grocery getter for middle America to drive. Although my dad and his wife on a trip to from Colorado to Indiana saw one of these get pretty much disintegrated on the highway. The mother and her daughter in the vehicle were killed. It basically, I think, crossed the median and hit a semi head on at full speed. So yeah, they, you know, I always think of that story when I see PT Cruisers. But what I like about the PT Cruisers, the same thing I like about the Chevy HHR, is that it's not a cookie cutter car. Today, so many of the cars are just cookie cutter cars, and there's not a lot of character left in vehicles of today. And this is one of those cars that, you know, with all its faults, it had a very unique look, and not an ugly look. I don't think it's an ugly car. I like the uniqueness of the car. So, all right, I did get some Johnnies out since we're looking at Revell. I know they're different companies, but here is a Johnny Lightning H2 Hummer. A nice amount of detail. This is actually one of the more accurate replicas that Johnny Lightning did. Although the scale is quite small. But look at the wheels. Very accurate, prototypical wheels. The graphics on it look great. All of the molding, the weather stripping, the taillights, the bumpers, the luggage rack. Just so much detail on this little casting. They did a great job. This is another, and this is pre-round 2, by the way. So all of the Johnnies that I'm going to show here are relatively new. They've all come out since round 2 took over the brand. This is the only one that came out before round 2. And there's a great amount of detail in it. So I would love to see round 2 bring this casting back out. If you scaled this up, just made it, I don't know, 7%, 8% larger, maybe 10% larger than it is, you'd probably have a true to scale vehicle. But look at the grille. It's a very underrated Johnny Lightning casting, in my opinion. It's got a great stance. So I do like this one. Figured I would show that. This one here, also a rad little car. And as I mentioned on the channel before, I think it's kind of funny. You know, round 2 relaunched Johnny Lightning in 2015. And the first couple releases that they made didn't really go as well as they were hoping. But what started happening, I think someone at Johnny Lightning started to go online and look at selling prices and determined based on that which castings to put out. Because it seems like all of the best castings, all of the castings that people desire to collect today are all the castings that they've started to put out since the first few series came out. Like the Land Cruisers, the Jeep Cherokees, the F-150s, the 81 Malibus, all of the JDM stuff. So that's good. They've been very responsive to what collectors want. How they figured it out, I don't know. I'm just assuming that they went online. It's quite possible that collectors contacted them and they just were receptive to it, but there aren't a lot of castings left that I would like to see them redo. You know, the H2 is definitely one of them. And but I think they pretty much covered all the others. So here's a Cherokee here. Now this is not how it came out of the package. I painted the wheels on this one. I don't recall if it came with black rims or white rims. I think it was black. And it just created too much of a shadow with the black rocker panel and the black fender flares. So to kind of make the car pop, I painted the wheels silver. I think it came out quite nice. So if you're going to paint the wheels on these cars, the trick is to push them back. Don't take them off on the front part of the wheel. Push them back to the back part. Because if you take them off the front and you paint the wheel, it's possible when you put the tire back on that some of the paint will rub off around the lip. But if you're putting the tire back on from behind it, you don't have that issue. But yeah, this is one. I'm really glad they brought this one back. This is having, I don't know if it's a retooling. They're going to be doing this with a safari rack. I think they saw a couple of my videos. Same thing with this one. This is also coming out with a hard top and a safari rack. So there's going to be a retooling of the, or a new tool of the top. Now, obviously, guys, I'm not a narcissist. I'm joking when I say they were watching my videos. I don't truly believe that. I think it would be funny if that was the case. I think it would be kind of cool if they were watching my videos. And don't kid yourselves. Those guys at Greenlight and Round 2 and M2, they watch all these diecast channels. They check them out. They got to know what's going on. You know, that could be another reason why Johnny Lightning has released all these castings. Maybe they were just keeping up on YouTube. Diecast has a pretty prevalent presence on YouTube, so that is awesome. So, by the way, all of these Johnny Lightnings have been wheel swapped, except for 3. I'll show you, or 4. One of them is the Hummer. That one was not wheel swapped. But the Cherokee has been... you know what? I should invert that. None of them have been wheel swapped except 3. This is one of them that has. These wheels came off of... I think it was a... Was it a Monte Carlo? Maybe it was a Buick... Or no, it was an Olds Cutlass, I think. I don't remember. But they look far better on this Toyota. They roll great. Great off-road truck. Okay, this is a really popular casting. These were selling for like $20 when they came out on the secondary market. So if you were lucky enough to find one of these for $5.99 at Toys R Us, you could flip it for $20. Not a bad gig. But part of the problem with this truck, it has much of the same bed issue that the Greenlight F100 has. So you got to be careful with these F-150s. But great detail. It's all painted detail, but it's really nice. And this is a 2-wheel drive truck, so the low stance on it doesn't bother me for that reason. Little small for scale, too. Excellent detail on the tailgate. I love the tailgate on this. Doesn't quite close proper, but really cool truck here. Never did wheel swap it, and probably never will. All right. 81. No, this is a 1980 Malibu, which is the same casting as the 81. These wheels for sure came off of Monte Carlo. They came off of the Aero Coupe. But I think they look really good on this car. At some point, I may change them. But for now, this is what the car gets. From this quarter angle, I think the stance looks great. Sometimes with this car, the quarter angle doesn't look so great. I guess it depends on the tooling or the color and the wheels and tires that are on it. I love the light colored interior. You know, most of the time these are black, but this tan color interior allows you to see all the detail of the interior. Plus, it's more accurate than black. Just a great car. Love this car. Got the window trim. Just very, very nicely done. One of my favorite 1/64 scale Chevrolets, even though it is also small for scale and probably proportionately incorrect. But you can still look at it and tell right off what it is. So the last 3 I'm going to show simultaneously here, because I'm already at a half hour. And these have already been seen recently. And this 240 is probably the worst color to try to show on video. This car is beautiful. It's instantly one of my favorite Greenlight toolings, even though I'm not a big fan of how they did the rear window. The detail on it, though, is great. You've got the rear defrost. The color is nice. The wheels and tires look good. Got the Portenza. This one got stamped off center, but that's okay. It's still a fantastic looking car. Now the R34 Skyline that came with this, I have since sold. That's a horrible, horrible casting. You want to see how not to design a diecast car, use the Johnny Lightning R34 Skyline as your example. The casting itself is decent. The base and the stance really couldn't be any worse. They're just awful. This one, the stance is good. It's not Kyosho good, but it's not bad at all, especially in comparison to a lot of other Johnny Lightning castings. And I feel kind of the same about the white Honda Civic. It's not a great stance, but it's not a terrible stance. I've definitely seen far worse from Johnny. I don't really like how this hangs out so far. But whatever. Like I said, it's not their worst. And same thing can be said for the CRX. When you push the wheel, or when you push the axle all the way over, then whatever side it's all the way over to looks respectable. The problem with that is that the other side sits in a little bit too far. It's a shame when Johnny Lightning screws up a stance, because most of their cars that have really bad stances are pretty decent castings. So they're just ruining decent castings. Like the R34 Skyline is a decent casting. $240SX up to code. This car actually does look really good. I should probably grab the black one and the white one. Anyways, there's your JDM Johnny Lightning. And I'll bring these other ones down just to kind of do a little overview. So I am going to continue working on the new layout. I don't know when I'll be done. I'm not in any kind of rush. I felt kind of rushed with this layout here, just because I really didn't like the layout that I had before, and I wanted something more presentable to do these videos. But that, you know, I don't have any kind of disdain for this layout whatsoever. I'm just bored with it, but it still works while I work on the new one. And I won't be getting rid of this layout. I'll just have the two, and I'll be able to go back and forth between the two just to kind of keep things from getting stale. I really do like that Impala. That is a nice looking car. Some awesome Chevrolet models right there. 1980 Malibu, 1996 Impala. And then, of course, the Chrysler PT Cruiser from Auto Art. So that's my trade from Martin. I don't know his entire moniker. But I'll get it and I'll mention it in my next video. I'll give him a shout out so you guys can check out his Instagram page as well as his YouTube channel. He's got a YouTube channel, and similar to this one, he cracks everything open, and he is an avid Auto World collector. Probably, I don't know, he's probably up there with Champion DJK. I think Champion DJK, well, I know Champion DJK is further along with his Auto World collection than Martin is. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty confident. Champion DJK is not missing any. So, but Martin might have more Ultra Reds than Champion. Alright, everyone. Thanks for checking it out. Hopefully you enjoy the diecast, and I'll catch you all at the next video where we will take a look at some more diecast. Have a good night. Have a good Friday. Talk to y'all later.